Let's again go to the etymology of the term. The original Latin which it comes from basically means to conserve, to preserve, what it appears to actually say. Conservatism is a political movement again started in the middle of the 18th century, and it was about people who wanted to conserve a particular thing. But the question here is conserve what? So number one, conserve an established order, which could be the monarchy, which could be a dictatorship, which could be a particular system of organizing government or whatever. So it just came to mean that no other values. I want to preserve the monarchy, so conservative. I'm talking about early meanings of the term. And then over time, it has evolved to also be loosely used in terms of conserving different kinds of values. Right, so you might have, say, a Christian conservative who wants to preserve Christian values, like family values, for example. Or you might have conservatives who want to preserve values of free enterprise against the encroachment of the welfare state. They are also conservatives in a sense. So in a broad sense, conservative is about conserving something that exists and that is under threat. But in a specific sense, what does it mean? What is the political philosophy behind it, and why should we all consider it seriously and take it seriously? And that for me comes from Edmund Burke. In 1790, Edmund Burke wrote this great pamphlet called Reflections on the Revolution in France. A French Revolution was underway, and Burke looked at it, and it was again being fought for the best intentions, liberty, equality, fraternity, etc., etc. And Burke's warning was that, fine, I get the intentions are awesome, more power to you, but the means by which you are carrying out this revolution are completely messed up, right? And one of the great one of the notable people behind the French Revolution was a guy called Maximilien Robespierre. And in our life lessons course, we have this awesome webinar called The History of Ideas, which I had so much fun putting it together, because I just created postcards for every sort of great advance that happened in the history of ideas. And gentle readers, you will now see two of those postcards. And one is a letter from Robespierre to Edmund Burke, and I made up these letters, but with quotes from the original people, but the letters are made up by me. And this is Robespierre to Burke, and you can pause the video and see each of these if you want, where he's kind of saying that, hey, what the fuck, you old fogey, shut up, what are you trying to conserve? You're trying to make a better world, blah, blah, blah. And then here's Burke's reply to Robespierre, where he says that, bro, I warned you. I hope you're around to read this, which of course Robespierre by then wasn't. He himself had been purged after doing a fair amount of purging, and that means matter. Now, what is the broader point here? The broader point here is that you have to think about ends and means. Right? Your ends could be whatever, building a better society in whatever way you want. You gentle readers might want society in a particular way. You and I might want different certain things. In fact, we will want different things because we disagree on a fair bit of things too. But the key core question is about the means. How do we achieve this? And Burke's warning is this. He's saying that you might be young and hot-blooded and think that the world sucks in many ways and you want to tear everything down. But please understand that the edifices that exist, the institutions that exist, the norms that exist for a particular reason. They have, gone through natural selection. They've passed the test of time. They exist for a reason, which is not to say they should not be changed. By all means, change the world. That is the only way we progress and live good lives. But think about how you do it. You can't just burn everything to the ground. That simply doesn't work. You have to think about how to proceed. And this to me is a deeply important point that we always need to consider. Now, when I think about the Indian freedom struggle, for example, I think about who are my heroes during that freedom struggle. And my great heroes actually predate Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, and Ambedkar and all of those people, though they're all great people and heroes of mine as well. My great heroes are the moderates of the late 19th century and early 20th century. Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Gopal Ganesh Agarkar, Ranade, all of those great people. And what they were doing is, and the way that I describe them and the way I think of them, is that they were liberal in their ends, but conservative in their means.